folks, my apologies in advance to those who can't stand reggae. Yeah, I'm a sucker for Bob Marley music, and I couldn't resist playing that music because it is so relevant to this particular situation. Anyway, Ngunjiri Wambugu was once a very reasonable person, very reasonable politician, somebody who one would say had a great future in Kenyan politics. Yes, the new Kenya, that is, yeah, new politics, you know, politics which are not tribal based, etc., etc. And he showed plenty of evidence of that. Yeah, this is a tweet which Ngunjiri Wambugu made in a different life. Actually, after the clashes, yeah, he said only Raila Odinga can save Kenya's security situation, yeah, and not those mass murders. And he mentions them there. Yeah, you can see the tweet right in front of your screen. Yeah, and then this man turns around and puts himself at the forefront of doing something which can only be termed as political suicide. Why do I say political suicide? Because somebody who's only a mere member of parliament has got a very long political career ahead of him. Yeah, and he knows definitely the situation will not remain the same. And he knows definitely he's going to have to face that judiciary is attacking. Yeah? Hey, I just don't know. I mean, a president at the very apex of their political career has got the luxury of attacking the judiciary. Yeah, they can get away with it, maybe. Yeah? But somebody who's just starting out in their political career is just a mere member of parliament. Yeah? And you put yourself at the forefront of such of an attack at the president of the Supreme Court of Kenya. That is just political suicide. Okay? Anyway, what happened to this man? Yeah? What did he drink? Or what did he smoke that just changed him so much? Now, I know most of you might have no idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, when I keep on saying change, change. Apart from the tweet I've just shown you, you might not have no idea what I'm talking about. So why don't we read a letter? Yeah? Actually, a press statement released by Ngunjiri Wambugu himself, Kikuyus for Change Initiative. Yeah? Now let's just read it very quickly so that we can get the gist of it. A press statement from the Kikuyus for Change Initiative, Uhuru's comments in Maraga, completely unacceptable. Issued in Nairobi on Wednesday 30th March 2011 at 11:00 hours. On Sunday 27th March 2011, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance of Kenya, Honorable Uhuru made the following statement before he was enthroned a Kikuyu elder and a king of the Agikuyu. We will not allow ourselves to be killed just because we do not follow our leaders. Those who fail to do this, we will follow them to their homes and expose them as the ones who are betraying us. We will say, see, this is the person who is failing to work with us. We will not go into the issues of making him elder or king. However, as a group that comprises members of the Agikuyu community, we find the statements he made completely responsible, especially coming from a leader who also serves as Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Finance. They are not only dangerous, but they are also intra-ethnically and inter-ethnically divisive, as well as detrimental to the national cohesiveness most of us are working so hard for following the 2007 post-election violence. In our opinion, these comments are also a direct threat to the internal and national democracy, as they purport to determine without input from elsewhere what the stand of Kenya's largest community is. As regards issues such as the ICC or post-2012 political leadership, we want to inform the Deputy Prime Minister that we cannot stand aside and watch him completely ignore the benefits of the new constitution as regards sovereignty of the people, be they Kikuyu or members of other communities. We hereby remind him that we, the Kenyan people, will decide who will lead us. In addition, we find the comment that we died because of not following our leaders callous, false and insensitive, especially to the thousands of mainly Kenyan Kikuyus who even now find themselves out of home and hearth as IDPs in various parts of the country. The Deputy Prime Minister seems to have forgotten that these Kikuyus are actually in their present predicament because they did exactly what he's suggesting, voted for our leaders in 2007, literally to a man. We want to remind the Deputy Prime Minister that Agikuyus still live in camps as IDPs and they have received neither justice nor compensation 3 years on. This is after they watched their loved ones burned to death in a church, or hacked and or shot dead with arrows, or raped or forcefully removed out of their houses, and land and their hard-earned property taken over. We also want to remind the Deputy Prime Minister that despite his newfound friendship with Honorable Ruto, these victims of 2007 post-election atrocities, and even those of 1992 and 1997 atrocities, have still been unable to go back home. We're being forced to buy them land elsewhere, against new resistance from other communities. We also want to remind the Deputy Prime Minister that the Agikuyu have not been charged at The Hague. On the 8th of April 2012, he will be going to The Hague to represent himself in his own capacity. He will not be going to represent the Agikuyu as Kikuyu king or elder. This means that his defense there, and even his defense here, which now seems to be focused on fighting the Prime Minister, are his personal wars. They are not between the Agikuyu and Ocampo, and certainly not between the Agikuyu and Raila. Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta must realize that unlike him, most Kikuyus are more interested in preventing a reoccurrence of election-related violence next year, getting justice for the victims of the last election-related violence incidences, and getting them compensated and resettled. We know that he has the capacity by himself to take care of himself as regards political wars with his rivals, or the cases against him at the ICC. We also make this statement because we have deliberately and consistently taken a stand against the ethnicization of the ICC process, and we take the comments he made as a direct threat to us. We believe they were targeted to us because we have publicly stated that the ICC is not about Kikuyus, but about 6 individuals, a position that goes against his message to Kikuyus. We repeat again that 6 individuals are going to answer to charges at The Hague, whilst others will be tried locally, also in their own personal capacity. This is not about Kikuyus, Kalenjins, Merus, Somalis, Kisis, Luos, etc. We conclude by calling out to all our independent-minded political leaders in Central Province, leaders like Honorable Mwite, Honorable Karua, Honorable Kenneth, new aspiring leadership in every county, to take heart. We ask them not to accept to be intimidated or threatened or forced to kowtow to a monolithic and democratic brand of politics. As this generation of Kenyan voters, we ask anyone who wants to lead us not to be forced to follow a tribal political ideology out of fear. Millions of Kenyans are independent enough. What we're looking for is independent leadership that will rally us behind them through ideas and policy, not through threats or coercion. That time has passed. We have learned our lessons well, and we will vote only for those leaders who have policies that will do the greatest good to the greatest number of Kenyans. Signed, Ngunjiri Wambugu, Convener Kikuyus for Change, Executive Director, Change Associates. That's the letter. Now, there was another statement which I'll just read a part of, which was released on the 9th of August 2011, a few months after this earlier on, which was released in March. And it reads, on that basis, every discussion forum concluded that each opinion leader present would lobby everyone around them to support the proposed constitution because it provided a solution for this situation in 2 ways. By insisting that a president had to get 50% plus 1 of the votes cast and over 25% in majority of the counties, any person aspiring to be president would have to seek to unite Kenyans across tribes rather than divide them ethnically. In addition, the 47 county governments meant that never again would a certain region, zone or district belong to any particular community. The new constitution was our guarantee as a community that never again would anyone isolate us as a community, especially politically. What we never foresaw was a situation where those trying to isolate us would be from within. I am sure that other communities have related concerns similar to the Gikuyu community, and that is why I must end with a question to all presidential candidates for 2012. As you seek the presidency in 2012, is your intention to divide Kenya to rule or unite us and lead? Yeah, signed Ngunjiri Wambugu. So what happened? I need to ask again. What happened to this man? Very harsh critic of Uhuru Kenyatta suddenly is turned into, oh gosh, I don't even know how to describe him. Yeah? But it is definitely something more than a Uhuru Kenyatta youth winger. Yeah? Anyway, what changed this person and what politics is being played here? Okay, those are the questions Kenyans are asking. Yeah, Jubilee of course has denied, it has disowned the move this man made to try and oust Maraga. Yes, and I must add that the shockwaves are still being felt even after he's withdrawn his intentions, his evil intentions, the after effects are still being felt. Yes. Now, there's overwhelming evidence to suggest that the Jubilee Party was fully behind this man. We have seen the party consistently fight Maraga and the judiciary, and especially the Supreme Court. Okay, it would seem to me that the reason is the detailed ruling. Yes, because that detailed ruling could give orders which would be detrimental to their candidate, which would be detrimental to the Jubilee Party. Because don't forget, the reason why the election was annulled was because of illegalities and irregularities, and these were great crimes against the Kenyan people. Therefore, when you do a great crime, you expect a great punishment or great repercussion. Yes, this is probably what this fight against the judiciary, this uncalled for attack, unprecedented attack on the judiciary and even the president himself of the Supreme Court of Kenya. Yeah, it is not acceptable, but it has happened, and Kenyans are just shell-shocked. Anyway, Bwana Ngunjiri has achieved his objectives already, even if he has withdrawn the case. He's probably now a big hero amongst the masses in his community, yes, and is probably provoking emotions very similar to the emotions we saw against the ICC in the 2013 elections, yes, because in the run-up to the election, remember I told you, Jubilee Party were lacking, they were lacking the oomph, the real provoking emotions to get voters out there voting almost to a man. Yeah, well, it seems that he has it, and he has also positioned himself as a very strong brand, a very strong tribal brand, which at the moment is working in our politics. And notice there's a big emphasis of at the moment, because Kenyan politics is changing very fast. Most people have not been able to see that change, but I'll just put it very simply. When something reaches a climax, it has to either go to something else or it goes down. Yeah, I believe tribal and ethnicity politics in our country cannot go higher than it is right now. Yeah, therefore the only way it can go is down. So how will Mr. Wambugu operate in an environment with less ethnicity, less tribalism, and yet he has built himself at the apex, yeah, as a brand at the apex of such kind of politics? Yeah, that's the question he really needs to ask himself. And as a sign off, I leave you to enjoy the wisdom and the music of one Bob Marley. Until next time, this is Kumekucha.